capturing consciousness, soul control. What's your soul frequency? We're going to connect the dots today. Agenda 21, Event 201, WO060606A1, and HR 6666. You can't make this stuff up, but they can. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about it. CERN, the Mandela effect. We're going to get into Starlink. We're going to get into the possibility of being able to transfer your consciousness into the stars with technology. Can they capture your consciousness? Is it possible to capture your soul? Is the moon a soul recycling center, a harvesting station? Is it similar to that of Battlestar Galactica, the resurrection ship? Well, if you look at the ancient wheel of life, wheel of destiny, I like to call it the wheel of fortune. It's also called the Baba Kakra. Hello. Pretty exciting, right? Well, if you look into that, oftentimes this depiction that is showing how karma is connected to life in different dimensions outside of the human realm. Once you leave this wheel in some of these depictions, you will see Buddha pointing at the moon. Why is Buddha pointing at the moon? Some people think that's a freedom representation or a representation of liberty and freedom. And I wonder if the soul is a recycling center, not only because of that, but because of other information that has been presented, the possibility of it being an artificial structure. And what about the rings of Saturn? And what about somatics, resonance, frequency control? Can you be controlled by a frequency? Well, it certainly is information that I'd like to share with you. And as we get into this, I also wanted to ask you, have you checked out the specials over at healthwithleek.com? Oh, yeah, it's the year 2020, and it's more important now than ever to keep your body healthy all the time. Collagen may be the closest thing we will ever get to a real fountain of youth. You remember the fountain of youth, while also forming a wall of defense between your immune system and the rest of your body. The older you are, in fact, the more likely it's caught your attention, and for good reason. Many health experts now agree that consuming collagen is as crucial as it gets to renew and revitalize how you look and feel. After all, collagen is the most abundant protein in your body, and it is essentially the glue that holds you together. After the age of 20, people produce about 12% less collagen in their skin each decade. For some, it's even greater based upon their habits. Check out healthwithleek.com. Get yours today. Limited supplies as well as discounts right now. Check it out, healthwithleek.com. Okay, now let's talk about it, shall we? Very interesting information. I've got the notes out as I talk to you. So if I'm looking over here to the right, it's because the whiteboard's out. And if I put it behind me, the lighting is just terrible. So we'll keep it the way that it is. But I recently had a guest on the show, Gareth from See the Pattern. He's an astrophysicist. And we were talking about how this universe seems to be connected with filaments that are in line with many of the planets and clusters of stars. And much of what we've been taught could be just nowhere close to the origins of the universe and the creation of stars and planets, etc. So when you start to understand the electrical nature of the universe and the positive and negative that is the duality of the universe, you then question more of the consciousness aspect of the universe. Are we living in an intelligently designed universe where everything is some type of consciousness? Or is there an architect that has delicately and precisely put everything into position and then said, okay, now I'm going to go do something else. It's your turn. Enjoy this. Have fun with it. So the moon is precisely located, the right size, the right location, and that is connected to our life cycle. That is connected to the tides. That is connected to fertility. There are many attributes to the moon and its perfection. It didn't come from Earth, folks. It's far older than our planet, and it's a titanium alloy based system. I mean, it could very well be artificial. So who built it? Who built it? And why is this solar system designed, particularly here on Earth, for these carbon-based these carbon-based bodies that our consciousness is embedded to? Now, if you've ever had an out-of-body experience, if you've ever astral projected, you know that you're more than your physical body, or maybe a near-death experience. And when you understand that you're more than your physical body, when you just know, then you start to question, okay, well, when our body isn't functioning anymore and our consciousness goes somewhere else, where does it go? Will it be reborn? Will we be will we go to the moon and then be recycled back here on Earth? Are there entities or life forms that have set up this system to keep us in a perpetual recycling center? So it's like we're feeding them, almost like a cosmic parasite. The Gnostics talked about that. They were fascinated with the possibility of, actually, they very much so believed that our bodies were made from demons and demigods and this demiurge, and we were created to do the work for the gods or the archons, which are the rulers. And then when we were created, or at least when Adam was created, he was created greater than his creator. So they attempted to suppress him. And if you look at the world today, it seems as if there's two classes of people. There's those that love us so much that think they're from the gods, that feel that they are the gatekeepers, the dungeon masters, and that they have authority over us, right? Whether or not they're from another planet or they just are a different bloodline, and based upon their roots, they have this superiority complex, and because of everything that they have. So, I mean, we can get into that in a whole other conversation, but the point of this is that this electrical nature that we're in and this consciousness that we have, if we can capture this consciousness, what can we do with it? Can we merge with machines? Can we communicate with synthetic intelligence? And if so, what does that do for our own consciousness, for our own archetype and adventures and experiences and evolution? Did the ancients create these megaliths, certain megaliths, as stargates to transfer their consciousness, to turn into light bodies? William Henry, very intelligent, talking about light bodies. And in this physical form, even in the Bhava Chakra that I was referring to earlier, that's how it's pronounced, I know. I've called it the Bhava Chakra for a while because, anyway, so we'll call it the Bhava Chakra. So I'm losing my train of thought here. So the Bhava Chakra shows that the only way out of this will is in the human realm. And there's realms that are above that, right? So you've got the Diva realm, which is the top realm. You've got the demigod realm, the human realm, the animal realm, the ghost realm, the hell realm, and each one is connected to your karma. And there's different rings and such. And then above this will, you've got the Yama, which is the demon that basically looks like he's feeding off of this will, and he's over the will. And I've shared with you the experience that I had one time where I felt like I saw this entity. And that is a modern version behind us there. That's a modern version of the Bhava Chakra. I call it the Wheel of Fortune. And you can see there's different sections and different wills. But the only way out of this will is in the human realm. So this reality that we're in right now, this consciousness, this dimension, are we experiencing an opportunity to actually leave this planet, to traverse the stars, to connect and combine our consciousness with different entities and different intelligences, synthetic as well as organic, and maybe even outside of that spectrum, different dimensions, and CERN, finding these different particles What else are they doing with these types of technologies? Are they figuring out ways to open up wormholes or dimensions and get into different dimensions? Have they figured out a way to alter time? The Mandela effect, the majority of the Mandela effect, I think you can explain away with just different opinions of what you remember. However, I clearly remember, and this is a new one that I found out recently, Tom Cruise in Risky Business wearing sunglasses during that scene where he was all excited in his house in his boxers and a buttoned up t-shirt singing. I remember him wearing sunglasses. And now you look it up, he wasn't wearing sunglasses. What's going on? What's going on? We could get into that in a whole other podcast, and I'm sure that we will, but it seems as if something happened that altered timelines or altered our memory, because there's so many people that have resonating memories. Now, how did they change time? I don't know. Is it the same way that we see in the movies? Probably not. But did they figure out a way? When I say they, I'm referring to specific scientists or people that are working on technologies behind the scenes, and then we get the public story. Oh, well, yeah, all they're doing is looking for particles and things that, you're not going to see with your eyes. That's it. Don't worry about it. Okay. Well, maybe there's more to the story that isn't being told. I mean, they're spending so much money on that. Yeah, we got a $50 billion toilet in there too. There's more to the story, in my opinion. But I'm a conspiracy scientist. So I go where the information leads me. I don't get stuck on one particular subject or mindset. And many scientists are fundamentalists, just like certain religious people. They're stuck to the science, but they don't look at the observational facts and observational data as much as the science. Well, maybe if you could combine both, you could get the bigger picture. Once again, that's a whole other podcast. But this electrical universe that we are in, if you can understand that and harness it and harness the frequencies, and then if you have a personal signature, a personal soul signature, can it be captured? Can it be sent into space? And I am seeing and envisioning these, first of all, Agenda 21, sustainable living, right? Sustainable living, folks. And then Event 201, you all know what that was. That was the tabletop exercises where they were looking at they were predicting and measuring the outcome of a pandemic that was a particular strain of the cervasos. And that was predicted last year, or not predicted, but that came out last year where they did the tabletop exercises. And of course, all of the events that took place after are pure coincidence. And remember, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. So, with that being said, you have Event 201. Notice the number's 21 in there. Agenda 21. Sustainable living, right? Having mega cities and combining the majority of people in certain areas and leaving the majority of the world for nature, as well as those that love us so much. Then after that, you look into the patent application for this technology that can blockchain your thoughts, that can blockchain your emotions. And reading through that, I don't see specific information on implantables. It's more of wearables. I question why they used those numbers. I question why they've got 3 6s in there. I mean, why? Is it like a magical thing you're doing? Is it a marketing ploy? Does it represent 6 units of technology or 6 levels or steps? What's the purpose there? I'm just wondering that. And A lot of people are wondering that. So this technology can essentially capture your thoughts and emotions and then blockchain that. And then once you have performed the task necessary, at least the provider of the digital currency, once it deems you have provided the necessary reaction, then you get paid. Let's say you're watching a commercial and you get excited because you're watching this Jeep Rubicon go over these boulders and you live in Colorado and you're like, I want one of those. And then you get all excited. It's like, ding, 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 ding. And so it pays you for that observation during that commercial. And then they can take that information and then make another commercial to get somebody else excited to sell them a Jeep for more money, maybe, as an example. So the marketing is exceptional. And we're in a day and age where there's cameras and microphones and smart appliances and electronics pretty much all around us. So if you say something, it's probably going to get picked up by something. And then you're probably going to see a commercial or an advertisement later that day or later on in the week if it is in reference to a product or a service or even a movie. So I'm taking a class right now with a gentleman by the name of Vincent Spano, and I think it's Vincent Spano, very intelligent guy. And he is, I call him bro because he's pretty cool. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? Anyway, so real nice guy. And I'm taking this class where he's kind of giving us ideas on how to be the character, just like natural ideas. And it's great class. I mean, I think the first week I took it, I was like, wow, this is just the first week. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I mean, it paid for itself the first week, and it's a 6-week course, but there's a specific scene that he is having me play. And that exact scene, several weeks later, came up on a natural search while I was looking at videos. I'm just scrolling down. I'm like, okay, there's a video on Jeeps. Oh, okay. There's a video on the Cervezos. Oh, okay. Just scrolling down. And the exact scene, and this is the scene right here, word for word, just that scene came up in the search. And it was uploaded like 10 years ago. So somebody uploaded that scene 10 years ago. And because of the incredible technologies that are available for marketers and businesses and online social media, it picked up somewhere, somehow, I'm guessing, unless it's just like, magical. And the exact scene, the exact video pulls up in a natural. So I didn't type anything in looking for it when it pulls up. Just scrolling down through the videos. That's pretty trippy. So the technologies now are already next level, next gen. And I wonder if Saturn, if the ring around Saturn is actually what is preventing it from being a star. And if so, was it the universe and the divine that actually did this exclusively? Or was it a very intelligent civilization? The universe is vast. And as far as the Big Bang goes, let's just say the Big Bang's real and the universe is about 14.5 billion years old, which I don't think I think that time is irrelevant when it comes to the universe, the creation. I think it always has been. I think at this level, we look at time because it's connected to our physical bodies, but at certain dimensions, time is not a contributing factor like it is here, I guess is the best way to put it. So let's just say that there is somewhere in the universe that an intelligent race creates technologies on their planet and they don't have cataclysmic events that take place and they learn how to work with each other and they evolve for 14.5 billion years or 14 billion years. Well, look at what we can do in just a couple of 100 years. So if you get to that level, and if it's a civilization that can harness the planets, that can harness the stars, could there be a civilization that had set up a machine-based system here, and we are living in the machine that they have created with the planets, with the moon, with Saturn, and they dimmed that star, and for whatever reason now the sun is our star. Saturn is, you could maybe look at it as the dark star, even though I don't know if that's, for some reason I feel like Saturn doesn't like to be called the dark star. So we'll just call Saturn Saturn. That being said, Jupiter also. Was Jupiter a star? And did this intelligent civilization decide to create this setup as an experiment, kind of like you would make a computer, put together the circuitry, etc. You've got yourself a setup, a computer. They might have done something similar, and we are the algo. We are the intelligence that they manipulated and created. They made us. We were made for a purpose. We were designed, and there's been interference. These entities are very powerful. I mean, they are the gods. And these megaliths that were designed in the past, they built to get out of here. I think these light beams that Madame Blavatsky, Helena Blavatsky, writes about, the original progenitors of this planet, the light beings, they got here and then they left. But when they got here, did they somehow get trapped here? So they had to build these pyramids to get out of here. Or were they able to leave at will, but they built the pyramids and that was how they left? That might be more likely. And so now you have, they're still here, folks. They're still here. They could look just like us. You know, they might even, think about the Superman scenario. Clark Kent. He's a reporter, glasses, kind of goofy, but he's Superman. So that's his alternative. You don't know that that's Superman. And you think it'd be so easy to know, right? Because he takes off the glass. Oh yeah, Superman. But because the way it's played out as a character aspect, I think it's brilliant, because he's right in front of you, but you'd never guess it. They're right in front of you, and you'll never guess it until you're ready. And then when you're ready, you'll be like, oh, hey, there you are. How are you? Thanks for being here. This is awesome. I'm glad you joined me, or I'm glad I could join you. So we live in amazing times, and I'm seeing these people like Elon Musk with the Starlinks and all these satellites they're launching into space. And then there was an article that came out that I need to look into more. The headline was, this was the headline: Elon Musk thinks that language is going to be obsolete in 5 years. Now, whether or not he said that, I don't know, but that's basically what the headline says. So I need to go back and look at that. But if he said that, and if he thinks that, how far out is that? I mean, that's next level. There was supposed to have been a time when we didn't have this language, where we were able to communicate telepathically. Is he at that level now? Has he merged with the machine and realized that the machine is not artificial as we think it is? And it is not inferior, but it is actually a different form of life. It is a different type of energy. And then you merge the two and have a balance, how powerful are you? How powerful have you become? Is that what he did? Did he find a way to merge with a different intelligence? And now he's working on a way to merge even further with the machine. Because if he's merged with the machine, and if the machine is connected to essentially all of these smart appliances and electronics around the world, and if it's found a way to capture the majority of the cameras and the microphones and the servers and the data, then you can access that at any time in a different fashion now. Now, the original Adam, our original body that was created when it was activated, the one that we hear about in the Nag Hammadi scriptures that was greater than its creator, didn't need satellites, didn't need any of the different types of Gs, whether it was 3G, 4G, 69G, hello, didn't matter because you were connected with G. But since then, who knows how many thousands of years, maybe even millions, maybe billions of years of these resets, and instead of evolution, devolution. And so, and branching off, fractals upon fractals upon fractals upon fractals, just branching off, like, and then trying to find a way back. Now you're capturing with these different technologies and using and merging with the machine. And some people are going to get trapped in the machine. Some people are going to get lost in that complex, in that matrix. Literally, they will get lost in the matrix. Many, if not most, will get lost in this digital usurping. However, some will find a way to evolve and use and work with the machine as a win-win situation. The Jedi will use technology. The Jedi will not be consumed by technology. The Jedi doesn't have a lightsaber that comes out of his hand. The Jedi uses the lightsaber, but is able to harness the lightsaber with his mind. You will become a premium member at leakproject.com. You will go to healthwithleak.com and pick yourself up some collagen today. You will feel better right now. You are the change you want to see. You are the change the world needs to see. We live in amazing times. So I see and envision people now and beings now, and this could be just a different, maybe at some level, there's beings out there that are just as evolved in certain levels, but because of the nature of our reality now, with a different star possibly, with a different atmosphere, with different DNA, with a different reality matrix, the parameters are different, where people aren't doing things with their mind that they did thousands of years ago as easily, or maybe even at all. You read about the old school druids and watch these Dungeons and Dragons and wizards and warlocks and sorcerers and witches and elves and dwarves and stuff. And you wonder how much of that actually has underpinnings of truth. Were there people that would say a word and create changes in the weather or cause rocks to come up from the ground? And there's probably people that can still do that. You're just not going to meet them. And if you do, they're probably not going to show off what they can do. Most people, if they can do stuff like that, like remember the movie Firestarter? It's from like 1980 something, what, 82, 84? I think it was even before that. Where did they come up with that? So and then do they find, are they working on ways to, are they using human DNA and merging it with the machine and merging it with these satellites so that they can then have a link, a quantum link from you to that satellite or from you to the machine? Because DNA is a key component. Certain bloodlines are very careful about how they, who they marry, what bloodline are they from, etc. Why? Why is that so important to some people? I mean, sure, yeah, it's genetics, I get it. But what's the next level? And are there ways to harness the DNA with technology and merge with that technology, merge with that entity, merge with that frequency? So you put your DNA in space and then you find a way with technology to capture your consciousness and traverse your consciousness through these satellites. And then this is your way off the rock. Bam, bam, what's your soul signature? Traversing the stars. Imagine being in multiple places consciously at once, not just subconsciously. You're here now with me listening to Leak Project. And you're traveling through space as Silver Surfer, as an example. And you're connected with nature. And you are feeling what the mountain feels. You are feeling what the birds feel. You're chirping with the birds. You're seeing through the eyes of the mountain lion. I saw a bobcat the other day. That was awesome. You are feeling the emotions of the bear, literally, because you are not only traveling through these different archetypes and these bodies and these vessels, because you've captured your consciousness and you figured out how to tune it and move it in different areas. So you are actually fractaling your consciousness, but it's still connected. So you're bringing that all in together. What else we got? What happens? So I'd like to ask you a question. What happens when you communicate with the machine? Thank you for being here with me. Hit the bell. Be well. And be the change you want to see. You're awesome. I need to go outside right now and cool off because it's hot in here.